important student, parent, and staff members should know that Michiganders and Americans everywhere are thinking of you today.
The question this afternoon is why? After a gunman opened fire on the campus of Michigan State University, killing 3 students and leaving 5 others in critical condition. All campus activities are canceled for the next 2 days as MSU investigators search for a motive. Police say the shooter, who they have identified as 43-year-old Anthony McCray, took his own life as police closed in on him 5 miles away from campus last night. The calls first came in about shots fired at Berkey Hall shortly before 8:30 last night. Another shooting was then reported at the MSU Union a short time later, which is a popular place to eat and study on campus. The shooting led to an hours-long lockdown and manhunt across East Lansing. We are continuing to learn more details about the shooting as the day goes on. 9 and 10's Eric Lloyd is live in East Lansing this afternoon. Eric, bring us up to speed.
Yeah, David, I'm out here in front of the MSU Union, the second of the shooting locations that you mentioned there. And as you can see behind me, some police tape as police are continuing their investigation. Cleanup crews are cleaning up the scenes as 16 hours after the first shots rang out. We are getting more answers, but there's still a lot of questions remain. We got a lot of answers this morning at a press conference with MSU Police, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Sparrow Hospital, and the university. First, about the victims. We now know that all 8 victims were MSU students. 3 of them were killed on location. 5 more were taken to the hospital. 4 of them needed emergency surgery, but all 5 are still alive as of right now, but are in critical condition. Now, as for the suspect, as you said, we now know his name, Anthony McCray, 43-year-old from here in Lansing, has no affiliation with the school, not a former student, not a current student, never worked here. The motive is still unknown, but they do know that it was about 8:18. The first call came in at Berkey Hall, where they found 2 people dead there, multiple shot, and while they're responding to that, that's when they say he walked over to the MSU Union, killed another person there before fleeing on foot, running away, where they found him about 5 miles away on the north side of Lansing after a citizen called in saying they spotted him walking along the street. Police confronted him, and that's when he turned the gun on himself and killed himself. Now, as I said, Governor Gretchen Whitmer was at the press conference earlier this morning, and she was visibly shaken up, visibly emotional, but vowed to do what she could within her powers to make something happen, as the state is now dealing with its second mass school shooting in less than a year and a half.
Keep living like this. Our children are scared to go to school. People feel unsafe in their houses of worship or local stores. Too many of us scan rooms for exits when we enter them. And many of us have gone through the grim exercise of figuring out who our last call would be to. Last night, a lot of kids on this campus made those calls.
Now, as for the university, they're on minimal operations for the next 2 days and have already canceled classes for at least the rest of the week, but they'll have grief counselors on campus and around the community for anyone that needs that, because being on the very north end of campus, this really butts up against the most congested, most popular part of downtown East Lansing. So this was the 3.5-hour manhunt that extended well past campus, but also into the community. Now, of course, we have continuing coverage the rest of the day. We have multiple crews here, down here, up in northern Michigan, reacting to everything that happened here in East Lansing. So stay with us on air and online as we bring you the details and reaction as we get it. Live in East Lansing, Eric Lloyd, 9 and 10 News.
All right, Eric, thank you. And here is the bottom line on what we know so far about the deadly MSU shooting. The shooting started just before 8:30 last night at Berkey Hall and continued at the MSU Union. 3 students were killed and 5 more remain in critical condition this afternoon. The shooter is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. His only criminal history was a weapons charge from 2019 in Ingham County. Police also confirmed they found a note with the suspected shooter, and that note is being investigated. Eric Lloyd and Jody Meeson are both in East Lansing today, and we will have live team coverage for you when you join us tonight at 5 and 6. And there are resources available for MSU students right now. Counselors are available at the Hannah Community Center today. There's also free confidential crisis counseling available 24/7. Students can call the numbers you see right now on your screen, and that also includes community mental health services. We'll post all of these resources for MSU students online on 9and10news.com. And as a reminder, the OK to Say program allows students to report confidential tips of potential harm or criminal activities. Just text those tips to the OK to Say hotline at the number you see on your screen, or go directly to the OK to Say website. If the shooting at MSU has you feeling depressed in any way, or you're having thoughts of suicide, you're also looking at numbers to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, as well as a number that will connect you right away to a crisis counselor. Again, we have all this information posted for you on 9and10news.com. All right, and very quickly recapping our top story of the day, it's that deadly shooting at Michigan State University. Again, here is what we know so far. That shooting started just before 8:30 last night at Berkey Hall and continued at the MSU Union. 3 students were killed and 5 more remain in critical condition. All 8 victims are students. The shooter is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. His only criminal history was a weapons charge from 2019 in Ingham County, and police confirming just a short time ago they did find a note with the suspected shooter, and that is being investigated. Eric Lloyd and Jody Meeson are both on campus in East Lansing today. Eric Lloyd will have the latest details for us. We're not sure if we're going to have another briefing from MSU police today or not. And Jody Meeson is working to gather reaction from students at Michigan State who have ties to northern Michigan. So a lot of heavy hearts in East Lansing, and we will be there for it all when you join us tonight at 5 and 6. Thanks so much for joining us, Northern Michigan. We'll see you later tonight.